Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Roseman, and today I will be providing a tutorial in regards to integrated development environments, IDEs more commonly called. And the reason I chose this particular topic is because my degree program is in mobile development. One of the things that I overlooked when we began programming classes was the environment that I'd be working in. I did not consider playing with it. I presumed it would be plug and play and that the information that was being fed to me, I would be able to input it and everything would work. Well, I found out that wasn't quite the trick. One of my favorites sites to look at or blogs is Lifehacker, and they provided a little detail and they talked about some of the places you would go to get different information in regards to using an IDE and how to understand the SDK more importantly, or the software development kit. This is your toolbox essentially. So I this particular article from Eric Ravenscraft. Um, Make sure I get the name right. I want to write Android apps. Where do I start? But once again, he talked about using Google documentation and some other sources to be able to get a grasp. And he also talked about the beginning stages and the basics of using the SDKs, which is very important. But to take a brief tutorial through what's just some basics, you want to, when you first open Android Studio, go to the SDK Manager. Once again, this is where your tools are. You want to be able to add whichever simulator that you feel is necessary for your coding environment. I would take some time to read to figure out where you need to be, but this is the place that you would add all of the packages, and from that point they would be added to your actual system. And from that point going forward, if you needed to pull up an app, I have this in API 21, and you see how this shows. As I have this running now, I would actually run your app after you set your SDKs just to make sure it runs. It's very important because it might not run correctly and you might need to get some assistance, so you don't wait to the last minute. This is really about not waiting to the last minute and giving yourself some prep time. To go over just the windows briefly, this is an XML window and it has a preview, so when you're actually doing some work, it will update at the simultaneously so that you can see what's going on. But when you're doing your primary coding for your classes, then you get the full view. And when you run your app, the logcat will show any particular errors, or if you wanted to print out some particular information, it would show up in the bottom screen. So that gives you a little bit of a background in regards to using Android Studio. I would find as many resources as possible, but spend time prior to class starting because it will give you an edge. Last thing, make sure you run updates prior to starting any project. I would not run any updates during projects. What I try to do for this particular project, when it says based on what I read, I tailored this to beginning students, to individuals that will be going into the program that did not have a background, and some things they want to look for, so to avoid some pitfalls. Once again, this is all about covering your bases early and getting some information and getting some practice and research. And if you do those things, it'll help clear up some of the smaller issues so that you're able to enjoy and fully listen to your teacher as they provide you instruction for coding. Thank you very much.